everybody. Welcome to the podcast, the Project Investigation Collaboration, brought to you by the Veritas Project. And as always, we're here with our gracious host and founder of the Veritas Project, Robert Wiki Bob Curtis.
Hello.
And I'm lead investigator Todd Boyer. And welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Yeah, welcome in.
Welcome in. So, Bob, let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Yeah, look at this.
So Bob and I, for you guys who have been following us and watch us on TikTok, Bob and I have been searching for wingback chairs for
Since
a
we first
year,
started.
over a year,
Yeah.
probably. Like the idea came up when we first decided that we were moving the studio to the farmhouse.
Yeah.
The wingback chair situation came up, and we've looked here and there.
Yeah.
Most of the wingback chairs that we come across are absolutely horrid.
Yeah.
They either want way too much money or
they're just
they're
trashed,
or they're just the ugliest chairs in the world. I don't know why people pick the decor they do for those chairs.
The pattern
they're
that's
ridiculous.
On it. Yeah.
So, was it on Friday?
Yeah.
Bob sent me a thing for two wingback chairs for they were like $40 or $30 or $40 or whatever, and they were horrible.
Yeah.
They were ugliest.
It was this blue and pink kind of tartan.
Yeah.
And it was like the bones were there. Like the chairs were really cool.
Yeah.
But the fabric that was on them was awful.
Atrocious. Oh my goodness,
awful.
it was so bad. It was so bad.
But they were cheap enough that I figured, you know what, it would, by the time you paid to have them reupholstered, you'd only be a couple $100 into it.
Right.
And,
and that was our thought process.
it would work out good.
Literally, as Bob sent me that, these popped up on Marketplace.
As soon as I clicked send on it, it said, whatever, current listed or whatever, it was posted that second. And I was like, oh no.
I'm like, kid, what? So he sent the first text of the first chairs, and I said, can we get them reupholstered? By the time that I literally hit send, these popped up on my phone. So I'm like, oh my gosh, Bob, those are fantastic. Yeah. So we literally went out and we both messaged the girl. Yeah. And the girl's like, I think I'm talking to your friend. I said, probably, because we didn't want to miss out on these chairs.
It's too perfect. They're absolutely perfect.
Now they're pleather. I mean, they're nice, but they're pleather. You
wouldn't know, though.
You wouldn't know. They're fantastic.
Unless you, looked at the underside of it or, rubbed on it, specifically.
But these two, they're St. Timothy wingback.
Clawfoot.
Clawfoot.
Yeah.
Yep. And they're from the 90s.
Yeah.
And I did research, and even in the pleather, these chairs are $400 to $700 each.
They look like it.
And we got them both for $60.
$60 for the pair of them.
I got on a phone with a lady. I said, where are you at? She said, I'm at this address. I said, when can I pick them up? Can I pick them up this afternoon after work? Literally on my way home from work, I threw them in the back of the truck, and I called Bob and said, Bob, the cops might be showing up. And Bob was like, what are you talking about? And I said, because we got a steal on these chairs.
Yes, crazy steal. So
there is nothing wrong with these chairs.
No.
When I tell you there is nothing, the only thing is this chair right here has a couple little fuzzies that we just need to cut off, that actually burn off.
I can't say what they are because apparently that's a thing that I didn't know. In the military, we call them pellets.
Yeah, well, we call them rappelling ropes.
Yeah.
So... so that's the only thing wrong with these chairs. They're beautiful.
No, they're amazing.
They're absolutely beautiful. They're comfortable. The girl said they sat in the corner of someone's office. She said she don't know if they've even been sat in. They're like brand new. I mean, there are some scratches on the back where they moved them up against the walls a little bit, but you guys aren't seeing the back of the chair.
No,
just saying.
They're super nice.
They're super
plush.
Nice.
Very
nice
soft.
chairs. So. We got one heck of a deal. We lucked out. We've been waiting for these chairs for literally...
It was what they call synchronicity.
It was.
It was fantastic. Perfect. If I hadn't have seen those ugly chairs, I wouldn't have been in Marketplace to message you to be there when these popped on. You know what I'm saying? So it was like the perfect...
Not only that, the area that I was working in, I was literally, when I finished my day, I was 14 minutes from where the chairs were. So I literally went over and picked up. I when I finished my last stop, I went over and threw the chairs in the back of the truck, and that was it.
That's so awesome.
It was.
It's amazing.
She told me afterwards. She's like, yeah, they went kind of fast. The boss is thinking that maybe we should have sold them for more, and I'm thinking too late.
Even if they were asking 120, I'd have still jumped.
They're still fantastic.
Jumped on it.
Like I said, I did the research, and they're St. Timothy cherry red leather faux leather chairs. Currently go for $400 to $700 per chair on the market.
I believe it.
On the open market.
They're glorious.
They are fantastic.
They complete the look.
So
100%.
That's why you guys on YouTube have a lower angle, because these chairs sit about 5 inches lower than the office chairs that we used, which those were a deal too, because I got those for free, and they're about $200 piece office chairs. So
for real,
that was a good deal there, and that's why you guys up on TikTok, you are looking down upon us in the TikTok studio. What we did is we
in the mount for the camera, and
we
now
switched the mounts for the cameras
Yeah.
because these sit so much lower, so that we're face to face with YouTube.
Right, and the angle looks great.
The angle looks fantastic. Yeah. So here we are in our new chairs, happy as clams.
Yeah.
We actually even moved the backdrop back to give us more room here in the studio.
We can have more of a difference.
So because you guys on TikTok aren't used to seeing both of us at the same time.
Yeah,
we're all hanging off the edges and stuff. So here we are in full view on TikTok, and we are right here in your faces on YouTube.
Well, you think that when we started, we had 2 folding chairs.
Yes, we started with 2 folding chairs.
2 crappy, mismatched folding chairs. One was metal, and the other one was like plastic and metal. And then we upgraded to the office chairs.
So that was an interesting story. We'll do a little flashback here. I went to a glass factory down in like Fredericktown, Missouri, and they literally had most of the building gutted. There was one office that still had like chairs and desks and things in them, and they had some really nice leather ones, but they were just chewed up.
Right.
And I asked the guy, I said, what are you guys going to do with all the stuff in here? So, it's going to go to the dumpster. I said, can I take 2 of those chairs? And he's like, oh, yeah, go ahead. So there it was. And I looked them up. They were $200 a piece new.
Right.
So I was like, okay, we'll take 2 free chairs. And we've used them for a year now.
Yeah, for a year we've had them.
So, and then here we are now with a new fancy schmancy
cherry. Really, really nice.
Really nice. They have brass tacks.
Yeah, they're all tacked.
They're all brass tacked and everything. They're beautiful.
Leather.
Beautiful, beautiful chairs. So, yay! And they match nicely. I mean, they look really good on the backdrop there. So, but
it looks nice on my back, I can tell you. They are super nice, super plush.
They almost make you. I'm so tall, they almost make me lean forward a little bit because the top is so squishy. Like a shorter person would be
nice,
in better shape. But here we are in the nice chairs. So, other than that, in local news, I told you I've completed book 5 this week. So my fifth Western will be out on Audible in about 10 business days. And I got the contract for 6. So that's where we stand with that. And then Bob's working on a house. Went to Renaissance Fair today with Robin. And
I'm painting.
Realized that I'm entirely out of shape and need to walk more. I figured that out today.
Yeah.
So we had a good time. Your wife, Angie, and who's a team member of the Veritas Project, and her sister went to the Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
But what would happen is Robin would message them, and they wouldn't see it for a while, and they'd message back, and then Robin wouldn't see it for a while, and we literally just kept crossing paths all afternoon. So we never did catch up with them. By 3:30, I was exhausted. My legs hurt and everything, because there's really not a lot of places to sit around there.
Yeah.
So, and we ended up coming home. So, but next Saturday is Viking Festival, so yay.
Rock and roll. So, I got to work.
I know.
So, in other local news, there's 6 other comets converging on our galaxy now, and 3i Alpha has actually slowed down. which doesn't make any sense because now it's closer to the sun. It should be
accelerating.
And it's not. It's slowed down. And actually, yesterday, or the day before yesterday, it was hit by a coronal mass ejection. Sunspot had a big coronal mass ejection, and it hit 3I Alpha. And the scientists were excited to see what would happen when it got hit. And that's when it started slowing down. So it changed position and slowed down. And now there's 6 other comets all converging on our galaxy at the same time. If you know anything about the myth of the 7 sisters, that's not a good time.
No.
It's not a good time to have 7 of anything barreling down on your home planet when we have no means to escape.
Well, you know what's funny is we went through 3 weeks ago and discussed the scientific, this is not a ship, and then last week we went through and said these are all the conspiracy theories of it. And now here we are, it's almost turning into one of the conspiracy theories. But the funny thing is, Bob and I always say, what's the difference between fact and a conspiracy? About 6 months.
Yeah, give it a little bit.
So, a little bit of time, that's all. So, Bob, where did you see today's topic?
One of my coworkers actually brought it up. And she was like, have you heard about this? And I had heard about it in passing, but I did, you know how I am. Somebody tells me something, I go down the rabbit hole of it. And this is a crazy story. Crazy story. So basically what happened in 2011, there was an earthquake in Japan. A lot of people were killed, a lot of damage, destruction. And in the aftermath of that, anecdotal stories started showing up in the media of taxi drivers. And people would get into the taxi, have a conversation with the guy. He would take them to their destination, and then poof, they would just disappear from the back seat. Yep. And in Japan, the way taxis work there is that you don't open your doors. Yeah. Right. They have a button, and the door opens up, and then you get in. They push a button, it closes, and then when you get to your destination, they push the button and it opens. So he would go to push the button and look, and they were gone that fast. So the story started circulating around like it does, and this professor, whom we're going to talk about, put out to his students, he's like, this is an outlandish story. We're in college. We are rational people. Right. Do some research on this and see what you come up with, as a goof. And his research found that it's not a goof. This is a really real thing. It's happening. And the students found meter information from where the ride was actually going. Right. They found information from the taxi company themselves from where people didn't pay for the thing. So it was like a charge off basically on the route because the person just evaporated in the back seat, and it happened a bunch of times. So
let's get into the facts of it. Like Bob said, the stage is in Japan in 2011. The Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami devastated entire towns. Over 15,000 confirmed deaths. Thousands missing. Massive displacement. So, there was a lot of places that were really hard hit. Trauma lingered for survivors and workers. And out of this tragedy, this strange ghost story began circulating. Right. So the first whisper of the ghost passengers, taxi drivers reported picking up ordinary passengers. The drivers would request real destinations and sometimes destroyed towns. So they were picking people up, and the people were saying, can you take me to such and such town that didn't exist anymore?
Yeah, it's just been razed completely.
Well, upon arrival, the back seat was empty, and some drivers logged the fare anyway, believing the riders were real, and locals whispered that the tsunami victims were trying to go home. Yeah. So you guys know how we feel. If there's enough of something, if there's enough of a group to see things over and over and over again, it's not a coincidence anymore. Yeah, right. It's no longer a coincidence. And this was happening all the time. Yeah. So these sociology students from Yuka Kudo surveyed 100 taxi drivers in Ishinomaki.
There you go.
Okay, and 7 admitted to the experience with ghost passengers. So, that's 7%. I'd say that's pretty high for a ghost experience. Yeah. That's actually really high for ghost experience.
Out of 100.
Out of 100, yeah. Yeah. So, the students documented specific specific routes and rider descriptions, and research framed as post-disaster spiritual phenomenon, and findings became part of a wider project. So, with the university.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you say to that? I mean, like,
especially when there's a PhD professor who's sending out his students to collect the data, and then there's actually a data set that says, like, this is really happening.
What if we go out and we go down to Chester and start digging into the destruction of Chester, the UFO destruction, and we actually start coming up with real evidence?
Right.
That's basically what this was. If you guys didn't see the Chester podcast, which, did you bring that down
magazine,
here?
right?
So that's other local news that we forgot about. I'm going to grab this right here. So there it is right here in other local news.
Yeah.
So a few weeks ago we talked about the destruction of Chester, the how, according to official UFO magazine, Chester was destroyed and then rebuilt overnight.
Yeah.
Bob got looking online and found a place that sells old magazines. And said, "Hey, do you have this magazine?" And the lady's like, "Nah, we have like McCall's and things like that."
Yeah, like Crochet World or
She gets back with him.
And she's like,
I have that.
Yeah, we have it.
So Bob actually ordered the magazine, and this will get framed and get put in the new studio.
It'll be on the shelf back
It'll
there.
be on the shelf in the new studio of how Chester was destroyed and rebuilt overnight. So you guys will get to see that in the background from then on.
You'll be in on the joke. The new people will be like, "What is this magazine on the shelf?"
Right.
But
so
long-time viewers will know right away what it is.
So there you go. Sorry, I totally forgot about that. I meant to mention that this week and totally forgot. Well, the chairs kind of overtook everything. So
it kind of goes back to like the tulpa thing that we were talking about, where enough people believe in a thing, then you can actually manufacture that thing.
Yep.
So it could be a part of that too. Like Resurrection Mary and our local myths of the phantom taxi driver. But in Japan, they never had that myth.
Right.
It wasn't a thing over there. So it's a new phenomenon for them.
Yep. So the passengers were requesting an area. I'm not going to try to pronounce it. I will pronounce Minamihama. Yep. No, we always end up with these places that we can't pronounce. Right. And this area was actually completely wiped out. A young man asked to go home in another place and then vanished. One driver heard a passenger ask softly, "Have I died?" And riders often wore dated clothing, sometimes wet or ragged, and details matched tsunami victims' likely appearances. Here we go. So here's what Bob said. We're going to get into the proof of it.
Right.
So the taxi meter proof. Some of the drivers claim the meter record fares for the ghostly rides. And then the logbooks may contain unexplained entries with no paying passengers. Stories suggest that dispatchers occasionally receive ride requests, and fare records are cited as evidence by believers. Now, the skeptics argue no hard documents have been produced publicly.
But it's a company, though.
Yeah,
they, give up all of their ride statistics. You could be like setting yourself up for insurance, or a tax investigation. You know what I mean? I wouldn't put that out there either if it was my taxi company. I don't want people knowing my business.
Right, exactly. So, let's see. The culture. So, vanishing hitchhikers is a thing, right? Japan has older legends of ghostly passengers, but those are usually hitchhikers.
Yeah.
And then we do have a lot of, that's a universal thing.
Yeah.
That's when it goes back to the things that Bob and I talk about. If something happens everywhere in the world, how can it not be a thing? And everywhere in the world has vanishing hitchhikers. So it kind of plays along into that, and that folklore. But in Japan, it's often tied to disaster sites and spirits of the dead. Now, taxi drivers are common protagonists due to their role in transport. And let me tell you, taxi drivers in Japan, guys, that's a whole different animal.
Oh, yeah.
Those dudes are getting paid.
Yeah.
They're rolling around with Rolexes and everything else. I just saw a whole video on taxi drivers.
They have those like lacy, doily type things that cover the whole inside of the back, and they don't let you open the door.
No.
It's an honorable job over there.
Yes, very much so. Now, urban legends have evolved alongside cultural trauma. So, now the role of the trauma, the psychiatrists argue these visions are grief manifestations. I am not buying that.
Yeah, for who though?
Like if it's a taxi driver.
Taxi driver? Like, you know what I mean? Like, 7% of all the taxi drivers didn't lose somebody in the earthquake that isn't in their town.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I kind of, you got to pump the brakes on that one.
Right. And they're saying survivors' minds created encounters to process the loss.
Well,
like you said.
Like we said, if it was a tulpas that we're talking about, then I'm on board for that.
Right.
Because that we had just talked about that with the ghost of Philip.
Yep. If you guys don't know what a tulpa is a spirit that is brought to life by simply believing in it.
Right.
So that's out there.
Enough people believe that it exists, then at some point it does.
Right. So it's kind of like we said in that episode, believing is seeing.
Right.
So taxi drivers often work long, stressful hours post-tsunami, and PTSD symptoms can include hallucinations and disassociation. Such stories may serve as a communal coping mechanism.
Right.
I'm in the belief that it happened. That's...
Well, it lines up with other legends that we've talked about.
Right.
Ghost manifestations and the things that really do happen in ghost stories, in the urban legends or whatever, So why wouldn't it happen in Japan?
Right. So collective memory and ghost stories help communities process tragedy. They keep the memory of the dead present in daily life, and spiritual encounters offer comfort. The lost are still with us. Shared belief creates a sense of unity and continuity, and these narratives often become modern folklore. I'm sorry, I don't agree with that. I mean, they do turn into folklore and things like that, but it's usually because of the fact that it happened.
Yeah, right.
Not just, we think this happened, okay, now it's folklore. If you've got multiple people having the same thing happen over and over again,
then it's not.
It's
not an urban legend.
It's
anymore.
not an urban legend
It's
anymore.
become an urban fact, right?
Right. But like we talked about, Slenderman was a tulpa.
Right.
That it got believed in so much that there are actual now stories out there that children left
were
with
abducted
Slenderman.
with Slenderman.
They got abducted.
Yeah.
So. Now, taxis are the spaces that we occupy between home and the destination, and the driver encounters, they encounter strangers daily, and they're primed for odd experience. How does that prime you for odd experiences?
Well, I guess
just because you deal with strangers daily.
Because you deal with strangers a lot. So
I know, but I'm sorry, you know my job, and I deal with strangers every day, but if someone walked up and started talking to me and I turned around and they weren't there anymore,
right,
it wouldn't be because it was a stranger.
You wouldn't be primed for that experience.
Yeah,
right.
I mean, and vehicles...
Just poof out of your back seat like,
well, yeah, right. Well, if I'm like standing there talking to someone, while I'm doing my job, my daily job, and I turn around and they're not there anymore,
right.
Like I was just talking to them like 2 seconds ago. So I'm not. It's always funny how much when we look this stuff up and get the stories about it, how much we'll call it the system, the Matrix tries to. Tell us that it doesn't exist. The Matrix always fights us on this stuff.
I always call it the sixth wheel.
Right.
It's the sixth wheel of our program. It's the the bot.
It's the research bot. So.
Because you don't really need it. The car's got 4 wheels already.
So vehicles can feel like an in-between place where reality bends.
Yeah. They're talking about liminal spaces, like the back rooms kind of thing.
So easy for ghost stories to emerge around solitary professions, and the enclosed backseat creates dramatic narrative settings. I mean, I get that, but once again, you have multiple people that it's happening to. Yeah. Not just,
And it's not like they're, like Starbucks baristas or something. You know what I mean? These are taxi drivers.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're in the car all day doing this.
Right.
And
it's
all
not
night
like
doing it,
it's not like this happens all the time. It's just all of a sudden poof it happens.
Yeah.
So the skeptics say that there's no hard evidence, no videos, no police reports or receipts, and all the stories remain anecdotal or secondhand. I knew a guy who knows a guy kind of a thing.
Well,
and some argue
Japan,
folklore.
You're not allowed to have a DVR system inside the cab because of the idea of the privacy of it.
Yes.
Right. So that in Japan, if they do have a dash cam or whatever, it looks out the front, it looks out the back. It doesn't see the inside of the car. So that's what they're saying there. There's no footage of it. Well, yeah, I mean, it don't film the inside.
So they're also saying that, that the folklore tropes shape the driver's memories. Well, here's the thing, like you just said. I mean, if somebody's getting in your cab and you're driving them to a full place and they just vanish, how is your memory being shaped by that folklore?
Right.
It's
Because
really not.
Somebody hailed the cab.
Right.
Somebody got into the cab and told you where they wanted to go. Right?
Yeah.
So it's not like, the folklore shaped it. You're like, no, bro, somebody got in the car. You know what I mean?
I opened the door, they sat down, I closed the door.
Yeah, like, where to, buddy? Like, that's not a folklore. Like, that's an event.
When you said where to, buddy, I totally got that vision of, what is it, with Schwarzenegger, the Mars movie?
Oh, yeah.
Total Recall, and the robot, the taxi robot. Where to, buddy? And it turns around. Yeah. I totally got that vision in my head. Go ADHD brain.
Right.
Yay.
But yeah, I mean, that really happened to that guy. You know what I mean? So it's like, PTSD. Like, not PTSD from the earthquake.
Right.
It's PTSD from a ghost getting into his cab, right? That's where he's messed up from. So,
obviously they always try to explain these things away, like psychologically. And they say that the psychological stuff outweighs the paranormal. And that's the thing that drives me nuts, is because paranormal is a fringe, quote unquote, science, right? It always gets outweighed by everything else.
Right.
Even though people all over see paranormal on the regular.
Yeah.
And we have even had a whole podcast on haunted person syndrome, where people see things, and the more they see things, and the more they talk about things to people who haven't seen things,
then the more they will see
things.
Right. So it's like what do you call it? Like an epidemic, or like it spreads virally. Mm-hmm. From one person tells somebody a ghost story, and then that person that heard the ghost story is more apt to have a paranormal experience like the story they heard, because they've been told it.
And they're more open to that energy.
So now they're more open to it, and it happens more. You should watch that video. It's really good.
It's really great. It's a long ways back, though.
Yeah, it is.
In fact, I'll just throw it out there now. I mean, we're getting close to the end of this subject here. Next week's our second anniversary episode.
Yeah.
October 1st is our anniversary, 2-year anniversary.
2 years.
That we've been doing the podcast, that we've brought you guys along with this crazy ride. So we're going to revisit our first podcast.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Peruvian aliens.
All the updates that have happened.
Yeah. That's a good one.
That's going to be a good one, guys. Don't miss that one next week. It's going to be fantastic.
If you want to go back and watch that one to be ready for next week, you'll understand what we're talking about. There's 2 pictures that I have in there. One of the jetpack person on top of the roof, and the guy down by the river with his face peeled off. Both of those pictures have been scrubbed from the internet. You can't find them anywhere other than in our video, because we were
on top of it.
We were before.
We were more than that. I mean, like, it didn't hit mainstream until the following summer.
Yeah, like in July of that year. The next.
And
year.
we were already on top of that in August.
Yeah.
And didn't start the podcast till October. So
crazy.
We're always ahead. We're always ahead of the game here.
That's what
For you
happens.
new people coming in, you watch us. You'll see shit that we'll do. Excuse my language. And it will literally hit mainstream 2 weeks later. Or a month later, or 2 months later. We are always ahead of the game on stuff.
Always. How many times I've been somewhere and somebody will approach me and go, "Hey, you do paranormal stuff, don't you? Have you heard about blah blah blah?" And I'm like, "Bro, we did that in a podcast like 3 months ago, man. Oh, I thought that was new." Like, no, man, we deep dived that.
We're already all over it.
We're already 10 miles down the road if that thing happened.
Oh, man. So the media has amplified this thing, right? Japanese outlets report that the Kudo's findings as unusual sociology. Western media sensationalized that ghost taxi passengers, which it is. I mean, it's not sensationalized. It is.
That's what it is, right?
Paranormal blogs added classic ghost tropes, cold spots, puddles, whatever. Which somebody asked me the other day about ectoplasmic residue. I was like, whatever.
Right.
Don't bother me. So the power of belief, the drivers sometimes completed the fare at their own expense, and they viewed it as honoring the dead rather than wasted money.
Right.
So that I could see if they're like halfway through the ride and it disappears. The person disappears halfway through the ride. I could understand that they would go ahead and
just
you know,
finish it
as an
out.
honor for the person.
Right.
So faith and folklore also blurred the lines between the reality and the ritual, and cultural belief itself sustains the phenomenon. So it's a big honor thing for them over there,
Right.
and they honor the passing of their family members, and they honor the people who have gone on before. So it's a big thing over there. So there's a lot of ghost lore over there, and if you notice, the Japanese ghosts are totally different than our ghosts.
Yeah.
You know, so their folklore is different, and then, you know, they have battlefield spirits, and they have spirits in the what's the name of the unaliving woods?
Aokigahara
So
spirit woods.
so there's a lot of different folklore over there, and you know, they believe that this, you know, continues to come along because of that folklore, and it continues to stay a key part of their, you know, what they have going on over there.
Yeah, and then like the memorials for the tsunami, it kind of becomes that too.
Right.
You know, so like when the docent or the people are given a tour, you know, they say, well, there are reports of spirits that
Right.
are carried back by the taxi drivers, you know, so it keeps that story going, you know, keeps the haunted person syndrome paying it forward.
Right. And whether it's true or not, you know, the stories serve cultural functions.
Yeah.
And they reveal how human process death and disaster. And they highlight the power of storytelling and healing, and they also warn us about the limits of evidence. So the mystery remains open, and make it perfect for the Veritas Project. That's us. So, yeah, that was a good subject. Bob came up with that. We're still holding off on the Warrens because they're...
Yeah, every one of our videos that mentions the Warrens on the other channel, it just...
Yeah, so they're still blocking the Warrens, so we're going to hold off on those guys for another while. The only problem I see with our new setup is the TikTok camera feed is so far away.
Yeah, I can't read
that
it.
we can't read the comments. So we'll have to open TikTok on the computer.
Yeah.
So we can read the comments.
Yeah, that's all right.
So that's all good. We'll fix that in the future. Don't forget, guys, if you want to follow us on Patreon, it's absolutely free.
Yep.
If you do follow us on Patreon at the Veritas Project, we will add you to the end of the podcast. There's a frame that's specifically for our Patreon members. If you become a $5 subscriber to Patreon, we will send you a postcard every month. We will sign it. Bob will sign it. I will sign it. And Angie will write you a nice note because, as we always say, our handwriting's horrible. And, you know, we'll send you a postcard every month. And that's the only place you can get those postcards. And hopefully someday in the future, you can say, look, I've been following these guys since forever.
Yeah.
Right?
You have like that'll be a contest we have in the future where how many postcards you got.
Right.
You know, it'll be like a baseball card game.
Yeah.
Gotta catch them all, man.
Right. So, also, if you want to check us out on Discord, the Veritas Project on Discord, check Bob out on all the social medias, the Veritas Project or RS Curtis 73.
Yeah.
I'm pushing off my socials, and there's no point in me pushing my socials if everything's going through the Veritas Project.
Yeah.
So I will no longer be pushing my socials. If you want to send us a message, if you have a ghost story, we'll still take it. We decided to go ahead and let the gentleman who had the 10K ghost story, 10K view ghost story, he's going to be our winner. Bob's got to find his information. We're going to send that bag over to him. We also, August 1st of next year, we are looking into where we're going for the third annual meet and greet. And we are prepping this out, not August 1st, excuse me, the first Monday in August. We are planning this out now so that way a lot of people can set their vacation time to come out. You know, we want to give everybody more than enough time to get their stuff together. Yeah. Now, we are, honestly, right now, we are not looking at the Lemp Mansion. The Lemp Mansion have just ticked us off to the point that we are...
Right.
So I had a conversation with the folks at the Lemp.
Yeah.
And on the phone, I told them, hey, we have booked this place out 2 years in a row, completely filled it up. We were wondering if you could kindly set aside the day for us because we know we'll fill it again.
Right.
They came back. I said, Bob, can you send them an email? Bob sent them an email. They said, we want $1,200 to hold it. And I said, that's not what you told me.
Right.
So
That's
at
what
this
the
point,
cost of renting it was.
yeah. So that the whole point was, can you hold it because we know our people will fill it, and Bob and I aren't going to put the money up again.
Yeah.
So,
they were like, nope. Go ahead and pay for all 4 rooms, and then they can pay you back. Is what they told us.
Yep.
And I'm like, nah.
No. So we're looking for a new place to do the annual meet and greet. I've got some feelers out.
Yeah, I do.
I've touched base with Grip Paranormal. They know a lot of good places. They do have one place that they could possibly get out in advance, which is it's a place they used to hold dances and all kinds of stuff. That's where we did the podcast with Grip Paranormal.
Okay.
So we might be able to get that building for an investigation for the night. It's not as highbrow as the Lemp, but it's a place. So is that doggone camera getting hot again?
Yeah, it looks like it.
It's starting to dim out. So good thing we're wrapping up here.
Right.
So yeah, Printify. If you want the merch, go to Printify.
Yeah.
Get all the good merch there, and I think that covers everything.
I think so.
I think we got good to go. So
Dubby.
Our Dubby. We can't forget our partnership with Dubby right here.
There you go.
So don't forget, if you want some Dubby, that stuff is awesome. It is a high quality energy drink. I love it. I've been drinking the heck out of the Japanese soda.
Yeah, I told you that's my favorite.
That's a good one. Very, very pure. It's a cleaner energy drink.
Yeah.
And if you use the keyword Whole Truth at checkout, you get 10% off. So Whole Truth, all one word. So, yep, check that out. Oh, if you got something you want to send to Bob, it's the Real Veritas Project at gmail.com.
Yep.
Send us your ghost story. We might turn it into a podcast.
Yeah, this was a suggestion. So there you go.
Yep, there you go. That's what happens. Anything you guys want, to share with us, there you go. So thank you guys for joining us on behalf of Bob, Angie, Kay, Robin, and myself. Thank you for joining us on the podcast. And as always, remember,
stay curious
and find the truth, and we'll catch you next time, guys. Bye, everybody.
See ya.